Okay, let's just dive right in. For decades, this has been the stuff of pure science fiction, a direct link between the human brain and a machine. But that fiction, it's becoming our reality, and fast. We are right on the edge of a technological leap that could totally redefine what it even means to be human.
Elon Musk said this back in 2019, and you gotta admit, he has a point, right? We already outsource so much of our memory, our navigation, our social lives to these little devices in our pockets. In a way, the connection, that symbiosis, it's already started.
And that right there is the billion-dollar question. What happens when that seamless link isn't external anymore, but internal? When the interface isn't a screen you tap, but a thought you just think?
To really get what this future looks like, we have to start with one person. Meet Noland Arbaugh. About 8 years ago, his life changed in an instant. A diving accident left him with quadriplegia, unable to move from the shoulders down.
And then, this year, Noland did something straight out of a movie. He became the first person to get a Neuralink implant. And through that tiny chip in his brain, he moved a computer cursor, he played online chess, he browsed the web, all of it just by thinking.
Noland's story is a huge, huge milestone. But Neuralink is definitely not the only company in this race. There is a fierce competition heating up to build these brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs. Right now, there are 4 major players leading the pack, and each one has a totally different idea about the best way to bridge that gap between mind and machine.
So this table really lays out the whole landscape, and you can see a fundamental split right down the middle. On one side, you've got companies like Neuralink and Paralyzed. They're taking a highly invasive approach. They go directly into the brain tissue. This requires some serious surgery, but it gives them an incredible amount of detailed data. Then, on the other side, you have Synchron and Precision. They're all about being minimally invasive. They work around the brain, which prioritizes safety and could make the tech available to way more people.
So it all boils down to this one crucial trade-off. And this is really the biggest dilemma shaping the entire future of this field. Do you go for the absolute best, most detailed data possible by going straight into the brain, which is a classic high-risk, high-reward play? Or do you prioritize safety and accessibility, making the tech an option for more people, but maybe with a little less precision?
Let's dig into that trade-off a little more, because this isn't just a technical choice. It's really a philosophical one. It dictates everything from the kind of surgery you need to the data you can get and ultimately what you can do with it.
So on the high invasiveness side, you've got Neuralink. They use this insanely sophisticated robot to insert over 1,000 tiny electrode threads, each one as thinner than a human hair, directly into the brain's cortex. The whole point is to get as close as physically possible to individual neurons, like the one you see here, to read their signals with absolute maximum clarity.
And then you have the complete opposite approach. Synchron's Stentrode is amazing. It's delivered through a catheter in the jugular vein in your neck. It travels up into your brain and then expands inside a blood vessel that's right next to the motor cortex. No open brain surgery required. Think of it like this. Neuralink is putting a microphone inside a room to hear every single whisper. Synchron is listening from the hallway with a really sensitive device pressed against the wall. It's way safer, way less invasive, but you do lose some of that super fine-grained detail. Their bet is that safety will make this a realistic option for millions, not just a few pioneers.
But look, all of this theory and all this tech, it doesn't mean a thing without a real-world test. And that brings us right back to Noland Arbaugh and his incredible journey as patient number 1 for Neuralink's device, which they've nicknamed Telepathy. So his journey starts in January of 2024 with the surgery. And within just a few weeks, the results were, well, they were astonishing. He was playing video games, he was communicating, he was getting back a level of digital freedom he hadn't had in years. He literally said it changed his life. But then, in May, the project hit a major, major snag.
And this number, wow, it's a big one. A month after the surgery, the company revealed that a huge majority, as much as 85% of those tiny threads had actually pulled out of his brain tissue, and this caused a massive drop in the amount of data the chip could collect. The whole experiment was at risk.
But this is where the story gets really interesting. Instead of putting Noland through another risky brain surgery, the Neuralink team pivoted. They went to work on the software, tweaking their algorithms to be much more sensitive to the signals from the few remaining threads. And guess what? It worked. Noland was able to get back and even surpass his initial performance. It's a huge testament to the power of software in this new frontier.
Noland's journey, with its incredible highs and serious setbacks, shows us both the amazing promise and the very real risks of this technology. But it also forces us to zoom way out and start asking some monumental questions about what this all means for the future of, well, all of us.
So this is what your brain activity actually looks like as raw data. A BCI learns to interpret all these different patterns, like these waves for concentration or these for rest, and translates them into commands for a computer. But as soon as your thoughts become a data stream, they can be treated just like any other data. They can be read, they can be stored, they can be sold, or they can be hacked. Suddenly, the most private part of you becomes an open book.
And that just opens a complete Pandora's box of ethical problems. Who actually owns your thoughts once they're on a server somewhere? Could a bad actor literally hack your brain? Is this going to create a new divide in society between the enhanced and the unenhanced? And what happens when we go from treating paralysis to actively enhancing human abilities, or even scarier, weaponizing this technology? You know, these aren't some far-off sci-fi questions anymore. We are standing at the very beginning of a new chapter in human evolution, where the lines between our biology and our technology are blurring faster than we can even keep up.
So let's just circle back and put a final pin in this. The technology we've been talking about, the brain-computer interface, is at its core a bridge. It's a direct communication line between the brain's own electrical signals and an outside device. It's the ultimate translator between mind and machine.
And the race to perfect that bridge is absolutely on. As we've seen, these companies are placing huge bets on completely different philosophies. One that's all about getting the richest data possible, no matter the risk, and another that's all about finding the safest, most accessible way forward. And whoever wins this race could very well define the future of this tech for generations to come.
Which leaves us with one final and honestly kind of heavy question. For the first time in history, we are learning to read and write the code of the human mind itself. But in doing so, are we just building a powerful new tool to heal and to help? Or are we taking the very first irreversible step toward fundamentally redefining what it means to be human?